Hello, ActiveSage here on the Sage channel, and I'm here today to show you guys around my brand new Sage station. Just like the originals, the main room is a large cathedral-esque or temple-like structure designed to house a marker, or in this case, 4 of them. I'll go ahead and actually start our tour proper on the exterior. So let's go ahead and just fly our camera out. And I'll even start by looking at the original Sage station on the far right, or at least our edit that we did ages and ages ago. Can't even really remember how the original Sage station looked anymore. But I remember I made quite a few variants and built this one finally. And just in case you don't remember, I'll just quickly fly into it. You can see at the very top we have a beacon, followed by the large showroom with a marker in it. Now this room itself is obviously pretty damn cramped, but it got the job done, and in one of the corners you can see we had an access door here leading down through 2 of them, I believe, and into a main living area where we had a little bed stuck in here and a desk over there, my modded in items. And then we have this path here that led down to the rest of the stuff in the facility, a maintenance room, true maintenance room, a respawn area, and then I believe it was just storage, yes, storage and reactor. And I did a quick alteration to this recently, which I haven't actually used in any videos, and that was this one here. This is basically the same exact interior, but on the exterior, I've gone ahead and used the new 2x1 blocks that the devs added to sort of round out the edges, and it made it a bit sleeker, but I felt I really wanted to go ahead and truly make a new station. Something that would really use all of the new stuff added to the game, and there it is on the left. You can see it's a fair bit bigger, both length and width and height. It's grown a bit. It's basically been scaled up. I pretty much saved none, actually, of the original. I think the only thing that is actually left over from the original might be the floorboards, now that I think about it. I don't think anything is. I just started from scratch pretty much and went with the basic same feel of it. On the exterior, you'll notice that instead of having these areas here where we had the interior panels to give it some detail and an access door stuck in the side down below, I've actually gone ahead and removed all that altogether and just gone with heavy metal on the exterior of all of it to make it slightly more sturdy. That way it can't just take one missile in one of these spots and be shattered open. You'll also notice that unlike the other one where they have doors on each of the sides, this one does not have a door here. It's only got doors on this side and fly around to the exact opposite, this side. So it's also not a symmetrical thing in all directions. It has some alteration on the exterior and even more on the interior. Of course, the last one had some alterations of symmetry on the interior as well, but this one finds itself with even more, I think. Moving up to the top, once again we have a beacon, but this one is slightly exposed. That way you can see the glowing light of it from afar, as if it is the bell to a cathedral or something of that sort. Moving down, we have a much larger cathedral area, and we'll actually go ahead and fly inside through the wall right here. You can see our character was standing right in the middle. Also, you'll notice that the floor area in here is much, much larger, a lot more space. And of course, if we look up, you can see that instead of having that singular marker, again, as I've said, this place houses 4 of them. In fact, if I switch back to my character, you can probably see it a little bit better. You can see the 3 there, and then another one on that wall. And looking straight up, we have a pretty nice view. Going back to spectator, we can fly up there into a very, very high ceiling. Now, unfortunately, spotlights don't seem to cast their light very far, or this room would theoretically be completely lit up by this spotlight, but for the time being, it does at least illuminate a pretty interesting ceiling area. And you can see that we do actually have a lot of detail stuck in up here with these supports arching out to actually hold the light. And again, as I said, if we fly through the metal, you can see that it all leads up to the beacon at the very top in this little tiny room of its own. Let's go ahead and switch back to our actual character now and turn on our UI, and you'll notice that we have oxygen in here because this whole station is now set up for oxygen. If you were to go through one of these doors, you'll see that we have double doors here. These are not modded doors. That way, if I load this world into a standard survival world or into a non-modded world when I'm just starting out something, it will not depressurize, so this whole station can still be set up, and you can of course close a door such as that and open the other one. And because of the door-to-door glitch, this little tiny airlock, it doesn't have to worry about venting the air, or at least not much at all. And there we go, we can head back inside now. Also, we have the air vent for this room. It is a singular vent for this whole thing. It's a bit odd. Let's go ahead and actually turn on our light, because the walls are very, very dark in here, obviously. You can see that we do actually have some serious detail to them, where we have this little ledge outcropping, and this little thing outcrops over the vent that actually keeps this room surplus. Now, it's strange that it's showing black icons on that, but depressurization is off, and you can see from our UI at the bottom right that the room is pressurized, so it is doing its job. Moving on from that, we can go ahead and look at the other side, and this actually leads us down into the station, and you can see it once again. We have the little outcropping edge here, very hard to see with all the dark paint, but I tried lightening it up, and because this is actually, I believe, light armor inside here, let me just do a quick double check, shall we, by switching to this tool. This should be light armor. Yes, the exterior is heavy armor, the interior is light armor. Even though this is light armor, I found that giving it a darker red color unfortunately gave this like blotchy texture to it that looked really, really bad. If it still looked roughly as smooth and interesting as just this dark but slightly brighter and redder, or even a gray with a slight red tint to it, I would have gone with that, but unfortunately it ended up being blotchy. It was really bad. But anyway, looking down this little thing, we do have a door here. I've gotten ahead and decided to not use the access doors that I've used in the past, my modded doors, because again, I want this place to still function pretty well, even if it's on a non-modded world. Of course, the markers would be missing, but at least it would not sacrifice structural integrity to lose those. Moving down here, you can see I've also even put in signs, so you can see recreation and a living area. And we can pop this door open here on the side and fly through here. Unfortunately, I don't have double doors for all these rooms, so if that passageway is depressurized, there might be some trouble. We can see we walk into here, and we can see we have a large open living area, followed by 3 little rooms with a bed and a desk each, so this place can house 3 people easily and have a nice living area to boot. I'm thinking maybe it would be better with a few desks or something in here, or at least a table to at least make it feel more lived in, but it gets the job done. And you can also see that we have a vent in here as well, and this one's actually showing the proper colors and showing that this area is pressurized. Moving on from that, let's head back into here. And we're going to continue heading down. You'll notice that the colors in this hallway are a bit mix-match. That's because the interior on most of this has this grayish blue, whereas the exterior is, of course, black and red. But anyway, moving down this path, we come to another sign here, medical and assembler area. And if we pop this door open, you can see that we have our respawn bay stuck right here. And then we have are 3 cryopods stuck in, so if the entire crew of this place needs to go into cryostasis for any reason, they can do so, or if this place maybe has shifting crews, they could do so, and in a non-RP way. Of course, if you're using this as a starting place, you now have places to log off. Moving on, we have this little guy here. Why is a connector on the inside? Because it's the easiest way to press K and be able to access your production tab without having a random little crate stuck up here. So you once again go ahead and access production and queue stuff up with ease without actually having, as I said, to have a crate. And of course we have a vent on the ceiling. Again, fairly unique walls, and unfortunately that glitch still exists there. You can see through the edge. It should be blocked off like that. Unfortunately it's not. Oh dearie, dearie, dear. I'm sure the devs will get to that eventually. And luckily it doesn't depressurize the area. Anyway, moving on from there, we'll head down one last floor. And this one does have a double airlock here, so we'll go ahead and close this door above us. That's because this is leading into a large open area down below here, where we have all the machinery stored. And you can see we do actually have a vent here, so this area is still pressurized. And again, I'm having an issue here where it's showing just black. I'm not sure why it's doing that. But anyway, you can see that on this large open area here, and if we fly up, you can see we even have this little cowling come down to make sure those 2 doors are airtight. That way, if something breaches this large area, of course the whole thing will be depressurized, but at least the upper decks will theoretically still be fine. But you can see we have tons and tons of piping and machines in here. We have all these oxygen tanks stuck in here. I believe it's over to the side right here is, I think that just connects, is it to these or an oxygen generator? It's a very, very cramped working area. This pipe here leads up to all the decks, and that's the one that's carrying the oxygen and of course supplies up to them. I think this one just leads up to the cryopods, and this one over here just leads straight up into, I believe it is the respawn bay. Moving down from here, we'll squeeze our way here. You can see there's a lot of oxygen tanks in here. What is it? 3 on top, 3 there, 12 in total, I believe. Right down here, you can see that, yes, indeed, I was right about that being an oxygen generator there, and I think it's another one, yes, right here. Under those, you can see a pipe leading out of this center area here, and there should be another pipe leading out there. They do not connect into those. I believe if we fly down below them, we should be able to see that they connect into... they fly down, and I thought they went into a sorting block, and maybe I removed that. Or maybe, yeah, I think that's a sorting block right there, maybe. I think that's a sorting block right there, even though it says conveyor. So there should be sorting systems going, and the reason I have that is because now I'm turned upside down, and I can't tell which way it was up and down. Oh dear God. I got myself so confused. Yeah, you can tell this area was definitely not built for people to just be walking around, and it's more designed for automated systems. There we go. I think I've got my head turned around the right way. There we go. Yes, indeed. The reason we have those is because these things that we're walking on top of right here are all assemblers. And so this one pipe over there connected to that one sorter pulls stuff up into these, like ingots and all that, raw materials that have been refined by a refinery. That is, I believe, yes, right here. So we have a refinery right here, and it should be set up to produce as many supplies as it can with these. So you add a little bit of ore, it'll give you more ore than you would otherwise get. So that pumps it out, it instantly gets pumped into these, and then only refined and completed goods can be pumped out the other side, provided I've actually set these buggers upright. And these all, I believe, have efficiency on them, or whatever it is that allows them to produce stuff without using as much power. That way, theoretically, we won't have all the lights going off when they're all running. And so that's what these pipes on the side are doing now. And then I believe this pipe at the back here, I can't remember if this goes up and connects into the oxygen. I don't think so. No, I think it just stops right here, as you can see. This leads to an exterior connector. Why did I just fly into a wall there? I don't know. But so does that one. And then, of course, I think we do have connectors out the sides right here and out the other sides to connect on any of the four sides. And then heading down further, you can see that we have a large storage container here. And the pipes, of course, are hooking directly into it. So all your stuff will be stored in that container. And we have a little tiny slope right here just to allow me to get under this pipe. And then we can continue flying down to our large reactor, or two, that we actually have down here. So we have two large reactors to make sure everything is powered, because we do have an awful lot of refinery machines and stuff actually set up in here. And then below that, we actually do, I believe, have our antenna. I'm not sure if there's a way to get to it to show it off, but there should be an antenna. Can we squeeze right through here? Yeah, we can. So you can see that we have an antenna stuck all the way down at the base of the station, and it's completely sealed off. In theory, that way nothing here will get blown to bits or damaged. Oops, I need to fly through here to get back up. Anyway guys, that's it for the new Sage Station version 2. It's a lot more advanced than the previous one. It's not exactly as homey. The other one felt like sort of a listening post. This one feels like it could actually be like its own little standalone base for 3 people. Considering all the room it's got, maybe a Space Monks of the Marker or something of that sort. And, yeah, it's pretty well set up. I'm pretty happy with it. It's got everything you could need. I don't think I've forgotten anything. I could, stand for getting some more mods or making my own to flush out some of it, but for the time being, I think it's pretty good. And that's a lot of bright light in there. Maybe I should put buttons in so that people could toggle off the light above their own room. Also, you'll notice that we didn't have doors on each of those rooms because they would take up too much space. I built all those walls out of these catwalk pieces, so bit finicky getting it all set up in there in such a tight space, really, because once you start if you put in big walls, it just eats all the space instantly. And there are, of course, no thin doors that'll fit in there. And I didn't have any the tops of those side walls didn't go all the way to the top. Why am I not down there? Why am I not down there while talking about this? Why am I sitting up here? I should just be in here talking about it. There we are. So you can see that we had to set these walls up in some pretty finicky ways. Like this wall here is the other way around, because I couldn't connect it to that, because this block right here is technically taking up the whole space. And even though I can't even aim at it, because that one's taking up the whole block space. So this one here actually had to be connected to the wall. It was actually a very finicky thing setting it all up. And you can see I could put a door here, but it's not lined with that edge there where I would need it to actually make a good seal. And then of course I have the ceilings, well, not the ceilings, the walls open at the top to allow airflow in, so even if I did have a door, these rooms would all stay aerated. Anyway guys, that is it for this place. I think I've gone over pretty much everything. Unlike the old ones, this does not have solar panels on it, and I originally was going to have an oxygen farm all the way up at the top, but I decided against it because I couldn't really get enough. I couldn't find a way to set them up that would look interesting enough and still have enough O2 coming in. Same with the solar panels. If I put them in there, they were just going to be eating up tons and tons of space without actually giving us enough power to run anything, because you need quite a few solar panels, I find, to get everything running. I was originally thinking that I might build it big enough to fit the large marker inside, but that would actually be quite the undertaking, so I decided against that for the time being. And one last thing to show you guys before I actually do end this video is just this version here. It's the exact same as what we just saw, except for if we were to fly inside it, you'll see that just like the exterior, none of it's painted. It's just all bog standard, unpainted colors. Yeah. It's pretty cool though. I'm very happy with this station. I like how it all turned out. Yep, that's that. This will be up on the Steam Workshop as a blueprint. If you'd like to go ahead and download it and have them in your own world, feel free to do so. Like I said, they should still function fully without any mods installed. You'll get a little mod error message when you paste it, of course, because there are some beds and the markers in there. But if you don't have them on, it's just going to paste it without those, and you should be good to go. Anyways, oh, right, and I'm also going to fill up the cargo containers inside with a few things, like I did with the old ones, so hopefully we'll have some stuff stored in there, maybe some spare uranium and a bunch of other stuff. That way, if you do paste this in a world and then convert the world over to survival, you'll have some starting materials. Okay, I think that's actually everything. Thanks a bunch for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing this. Again, it'll be up on the Steam Workshop probably right away, and yeah, feel free to use it. See you guys next time. Ta-ta.